Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
On Thursday night, the Royals and Yankees began a 4-game series matching up the youngest team in the big leagues with the oldest. So far, the kids have outplayed the veterans. Can the Royals make it 3 out of 4? Game 4 is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium. The thunderstorms have cleared out, and we will have Game 4 between the Royals and the Yankees. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and now the Royals are in position to win this series after an impressive win last night.
It all starts on the bump, on the hill. Last night, Felipe Polino did his job. Now, it's his first start of the year. Some weren't knowing what to expect, but he was able to keep the ball down, throw quality strikes, stay on the corners. Job well done. But you can't win unless you have offense, and it was Billy Butler early that got him on the board with 2 big runs to help Polino comfort and settle down. Gordon, he was outstanding. He laced 4 knocks out there, almost got that 5th, but I tell you, well-rounded game, good execution, and that ensures a chance for them to at least get a split.
Lukochaver will have to pitch well today if the Royals shake hands on the field again, and we'll talk about his keys when we come back. Play, students win. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. We'll talk about keys for Lukochaver when we come back. Duffy, who won Game 1 on Thursday against the Yankees. And then last night, Felipe Paulino, who won Game 3. Luke Hochevar coming off a rough outing against the Tigers. What is he going to do today? Here's the Kia report.
One of the reasons is he's been in the middle too much. Stay out of the middle of the plate and knock him off the plate. Put a little fear in him. And most importantly, regain that confidence that you are one of their aces.
And hopefully he'll get some run support as the Royals are facing Phil Hughes, who has an ERA of almost 7.5. Royals go for the series. The first pitch is next. Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. And we had some heavy thunderstorms from about 10 until noon, but that is all cleared out. It's still overcast with some rumbles of thunder. As we take a look at the Yankees lineup today, they are 14 and 13, and once again it'll be Alex Rodriguez batting third and Mark Teixeira shifting down to number 5. Nick Swisher, who's had a hamstring injury, will be the designated hitter. He has 23 RBIs this year. Former Royal Raul Ibanez will be in left field. And the Yankees, for the first time since 2009, will be facing Luke Hochevar, who had 2 good starts against the Blue Jays and the Indians, but then on Tuesday, Rex gave up 5 runs in the first inning against Detroit and 9 in the game.
If they want to get 3 out of 4 from the Yankees before they head out of town, they're going to rely on him to stay out of the middle of the plate. No doubt about it. That was the big issue. He was just out over, and you know, big league hitters early in the first inning, they're looking for those pitches. They want to get ahead first.
And playing behind him today will be Irving Falou, making his big league debut. He will start at shortstop today as Alcides Escobar and Jeff Francoeur are out of the starting lineup. So a big day for Irving Falou and his family. His mother is here today. And we'll take a look at the rest of the Royals defensively this afternoon, presented by Ford.
All right, Mitch Meyer is going to give Frenchie a little time off in right field. That's good. Also, we talked about Falou. He only had to wait 949 games to get this debut. How about Humberto Quintero? He's getting consecutive starts for Kansas City. Hopefully, he'll be setting up on both sides of the plate for Hochevar.
Irving Falou, drafted in 03, the same year that Mitch Meyer was drafted as a sandwich pick in the first round. So he'll be playing opposite One of the greatest shortstops ever, Derek Jeter. So all that time in the minor leagues, and in his first big league game, the first hitter he'll see at the plate is Derek Jeter.
And you can see Jeter stepping in with a smile. He was looking at Moustakas, telling him to back up. I'm not going to bunt. And Moose obliged. He backed up. And the way he's swinging the bat, he doesn't need to bunt. Solid guy, hotter than a firecracker. At least they got him out last night. They put an over on him.
It was a rare hitless game for him. He was 0 for 4, but he's still 6 out of 14 in the series with a home run, 4 runs scored, and 2 RBIs. And Hochevar's first pitch is drilled to center. Back goes Dyson, and it's off the screen. And Jeter is at second base with his 9th double of the year.
Okay, he's a first pitch swinger. They ought to know that. So Hochevar's going to have to mix up his pitches. He's got an effective slider, curve, and a change. He's going to have to bring all of those in. There it is. It's one of his problems he's had is he's right over. And, you know, the Yankees, they are looking to hack today, especially both pitchers with 7 ERAs. They know that, and so they're going to say, okay, obviously they've gotten up to a slow start. Let's keep them down.
Hochevar has given up 21 earned runs this year, and 12 of those have come in the first inning. He gave up 7 to the Indians and then 5 to the Tigers. And if I could connect those two starts, what stands out for me is that the Indians for the home opener here and the Tigers on Tuesday were all swinging very early in the count. Luke's first, maybe second pitch.
And as heavily scouted as these games are, they have advanced scouts. The next team that the Royals play, the Red Sox, they have their guys here looking, so they can tell them that.
Granderson takes a fastball for a strike. A couple of doubles and a couple of strikeouts last night for Granderson. He has 4 hits in the series, and the Royals have struck him out 5 times. Curveball is a little bit outside.
Right. Hochevar is going to have to pitch and try to execute quality strikes. And quality strikes, the definition of that is anywhere out of the middle.
Anderson on a cut fastball in on his hands. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I've mentioned that cutter. That's an effective pitch. Hitters can't pick that up at all. And it's got a late little life to it, a little darting into the lefty and away from the righty that's very effective.
Pitch stayed up, and Granderson fouls it away.
Granderson, he's really not your prototypical type lead or second place hitter because he's got pop. A lot of teams would have him in that 3 and 4 spot.
And when he was with the Tigers, they put him there a few times, and it just didn't work for him and the Tigers like it did when he would lead off. And he strokes it foul, and it's still 1 ball and 2 strikes. But yeah, how many number 2 guys are hitting 41 home runs and driving in 119 like he did last year?
Not many. And he's sitting atop the leaderboard. He's tied with 3 others with 9.
Anderson out into shallow center field. It is slicing, so it's Gordon coming over from left with the shift toward right field. So Granderson does not advance Jeter, and there is 1 out. Much more pleasant day than it was yesterday. Hot and humid. The thunderstorms have taken all the humidity with them, so 73 comfortable degrees. And we started right on time at 1:10. Time and Temp is brought to you by the parking spot at KCI.
Good Midwestern thunderstorm. Come out here and cool things down. Nice to see some lightning. As long as you're not under it.
And as long as you're talking about the weather and not the hitters, because we haven't seen much lightning from Alex Rodriguez in this series. Just 2 for 10. He has reached with 3 walks, and he made the final out in that exciting game on Thursday. One and one.
That was a nice sequence of pitches that he served up Granderson to get him to pop out to left so he didn't advance Jeter. So it looks like Hochevar, after that first pitch double, is starting to focus a little bit more.
Started to swing and was able to hold up. Vic Carapazza is the umpire at first base. And it was Vic Carapazza, remember, in that final out, that last at-bat for Rodriguez. In the middle of the at-bat, he turned on a borderline call to the home plate umpire, throwing his arms in the air in protest. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yankees just a .249 hitting team so far with runners in scoring position. They haven't been exactly getting the clutch hits, and Hochevar wants to keep it that way by making those pitches like he's doing. Staying out of the middle. Now he will use a 4-seam fastball, and that's up for strikeouts at times.
Down and in, 3-2.
Nice spot.
Now you talk about pitching inside. Down and in doesn't quite have the same effect as up and in or around the hands.
No, it does not have the same effect. But, you know, you miss down there and he swings, you get a ground ball. But you got to sometimes back him off.
On the ground to Falou. So in his first chance, he's right on the money to Hosmer, 2 down.
Okay, we went back and looked at some of the effective inside pitches of Luke Hochevar in the past, and this is really what he wants. Watch the effect of this. Now, this is an inside strike. That's a quality inside pitch. Really not for effect. This one's for effect. That's up around his shoulders. It totally fooled the hitter. But see, now, sometimes they get away, but that's part of baseball. Hit him in the wallet, and most guys that have a wallet up here, it's pretty thick. So there's another inside pitch, and what that does, it opens up the outside part for breaking stuff.
Robinson Cano taking all the way, and there's a good fastball over the inside. Another hitter that's been quiet so far, and not just in this series, but all season, is Cano. 1 month into the season, has 4 RBIs. Derek Jeter on the first pitch of the game doubled to right center, and still standing there with 2 outs. And Cano grounds it to Hosmer. He'll go to the bag himself, and Hochevar works around the leadoff double. And here is their lineup, with Gerard Dyson leading off in center field. With Jeff Francoeur out, Mike Moustakas will bat 5th. Mitch Meyer will take his place in right field. Irving Falou will bat 8th and play at shortstop. And with more on him, let's welcome in Joe Goldberg.
Ryan, pretty neat story, over 900 minor league games, and here he is making his debut. Found out from Ned Yost last night, and he told me he slept fine, really was not too nervous, feels comfortable around this group of guys. He's ready to play, and really excited because his mom, Sylvia, brother, Peter, and his niece and nephew, his nephew, Iram, and his niece, Yamika, are in from Puerto Rico, so he's thrilled to have them here, and it was kind of cool, guys, seeing him around the clubhouse with those little pine tar bat giveaways from last night. He was getting them signed by some of the teammates to give out to his mom and his nephew. Back upstairs to you, Ryan.
All right, thank you, Joel. And, you know, Joel brings up a good point that, you know, we talk about all the advantages of these young players coming up together and being comfortable around one another. Well, another dimension to that is when a guy comes up to the big leagues for the first time, if he's been around all these guys in the minor leagues and he sees them playing well at this level, that has to ease some of the nerves, doesn't it?
Oh, no question about that. He's extremely comfortable here. Being with the Royals his entire career, he knows all these guys. That's going to help him. Compared to a guy coming in that doesn't really know the guys, being a little bit unsure, hopefully he'll get that big league hit out of the way and help his team win.
Phil Hughes, who needs a big start if he wants to stay in the Yankee rotation, is off to a good start, striking out Gerard Dyson.
Okay, this kid, he's got some excellent stuff. He's got a power fastball to reach 95. He'll cut it and sink it too, so he's going to vary his speeds. He's got a knuckle curve and a pretty good changeup he'll show. But like Hochevar, he's going to have to stay out of the middle as well. The guys have been getting to him. Right-handers are hitting Hughes at a 347 clip with 4 homers. Lefties are hitting 244 with 3.
And that might have had something to do with the lineup that Ned Yost put together today, because only 2 right-hand bats are in there, Billy Butler and Humberto Quintero. Everybody else either a left-hand hitter or a switch hitter.
You know, managers, before they make up their lineup, of course, aided by their bench coaches, that's one of the things they look at, the splits between righties and lefties. Now, for the Royals to have success today off of Hughes, is they got to be able to score first, okay? The Royals are 0-14 when they don't score first. So it's very important to get to the opposition. The 2 wins here so far against the Yankees, they scored first. Look for the fastball and capitalize on the mistakes. 7 home runs have been given up.
So a strikeout and now a 4-pitch walk. And Billy Butler with a runner at first. And taking a strike from Phil Hughes. Billy with 2 doubles last night and driving in 3 of the 5 runs. And leading the Royals with 19 driven in. A little bit inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned the Yankees hadn't seen Hochevar since 09. The Royals haven't seen Hughes since 2010. So in the 2 series against the Yankees last year, they did not get Phil Hughes. And the last time the Royals saw Phil Hughes, he was having the best season of his career. He went 18-8 in 2010. Billy drives it to right center field. So his last 3 hits have been doubles, and all RBI doubles. 1-0 Royals in the first.
Being aggressive, looking for a mistake and capitalizing, and that's part of the keys for these guys to beat Phil Hughes. And might as well be one of their clutchest hitters right there, Billy Butler. Now, Gordon wasn't in scoring position, but Billy Butler has been knocking him in at a 423 clip when the runners are out there. So, excellent start.
Yeah, the way Billy's swinging the bat right now, if you're on base, you're in scoring position.
Exactly.
And now Eric Hosmer. And once again, Hosmer hitting into some bad luck last night. He was 0 for 3, which included a line out to left and a line out to short that almost knocked Derek Jeter into the fountains. the call at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Laid off the curve outside, 2-1.
Royals hitting coach Kevin Seitzer told me that, he really hasn't gotten the videotape out and sat down with Eric yet because he doesn't feel like there's a need to. He's just not finding any holes. Everybody knows it.
A little bit outside, 3-1. I was just saying earlier today that if Eric Hosmer's season has played out so far in the batting cage, he would think he's having a pretty good year. I mean, he'd walk out of the cage saying, I'm hitting the ball good. I'm hitting the ball very well. If this was in a game, I'd be getting a lot of hits. Well, of course, you don't have the defenders when you're hitting in the batting cage. And for whatever reason, they've been just lined up perfectly for him this year.
It's kind of like a pitcher that throws his bullpen sessions. He feels good, says, I got great stuff, but there's no hitter standing in there. So most everyone throws a no-hitter.
Yeah, you get knocked around in your bullpen session and you got problems.
You're in trouble. Hosmer is hitting .233, higher than his batting average with a runner in scoring position, so he's been coming up with a couple of big hits. And he does have 5 homers and 15 ribbies. That's a lot more than Albert Pujols can say.
Reaching, and he pops it into shallow left. And Ibanez makes the catch. Butler goes back to first, 2 down, and now Ford will show us the Yankees on defense today.
Curtis Granderson, he can play the center field. How about Mark Teixeira? This guy right here is awesome. He makes everything over there, even if it's not on the bag. He comes off the bag and helps the rest of the guys around the infield. Jeter and Rodriguez, they love Mark Teixeira. One of the reasons the Yankees, Joe Girardi's team, is right at the top in fielding this year so far.
Hughes in for a strike to Mike Moustakas. 3 hits, a home run, 3 RBIs in the first 3 games. And over his last 9 games, he has 11 RBIs. Butler down at second with 2 outs. And off the knuckles right to Derek Jeter. The Royals take the lead on another Billy Butler RBI double.
Ball's not carrying the short. Billy Butler to the rescue, just like last night. Get him on the board early.
College Suite winner is Richard Espinoza Jr. from Brookfield, Missouri. Congratulations to Richard. He and 11 friends and family are enjoying the game from the Sprint Suite just above us. Don't forget, when you send in your text message for our Sprint You Call It question, you'll get a bounce back text message from Sprint with instructions on how you can register for a suite at Kauffman Stadium for you and 11 guests. Luke Hochevar's first pitch resulted in a Derek Jeter double, but Jeter never got to third base in the inning as Hochevar came back and got Granderson, Rodriguez, and Cano. It'll be Mark Teixeira, Nick Swisher, and Raul Ibanez in the second inning. 2 balls and no strikes on Teixeira. 3 hits, 4 RBIs in the series. In the first 2 games, he batted third, and now in the last 2 games, he is batting 5th. And that's a little high, 3-0.
Okay, the reason that scoring runs in the first inning and getting on the board first is important, for whatever reason, the Yankees are 9-1 when they score first. Okay, he's going to lose him. He didn't lose him by much. He was right around the plate. The Royals are 9-3 when they score first. And I mentioned earlier, when the Royals this season don't score first, they're 0-14. Now, you can make any reasons for that you want, but the numbers sometimes tell the story.
And now Nick Swisher, who's been fighting a hamstring strain, not severe enough for the Yankees to put him on the disabled list. And he leads the Yankees with 23 RBIs. Ball 1.
This guy has the personality to be a huge star in New York City, and he is. Outgoing, flamboyant, has fun. Watch him look up. See how he looks up? He looks up there for a focus point. Helps him focus. Kind of like Jonathan Broxton. Before he throws a pitch, he looks down, and then he comes up when he's ready to throw it. It's all about a focus. Some of these guys, they get in patterns, and it's not easy to do what they do up there, but it helps. Watch him. He'll look up every time before. Okay, he's going to toe up and get in the box. There he goes. He looks up. Good inside out. Got power.
2 balls, 1 strike. Two and two. You mentioned Swisher being a good fit in New York. We've seen him with the A's. We've seen him with the White Sox. And in those places, he was looked to as the guy. And not that Nick Swisher can't handle that, but he comes to New York where there's going to be more pressure on Alex Rodriguez and Mark Teixeira and Derek Jeter. And now with the numbers he's put up recently, Curtis Granderson.
But he has plenty of talent to fit in there. He's kind of a streaky hitter, but when you're dealing with a hamstring early in a season like this, it's something they're going to keep an eye on. He wouldn't be out there if he wasn't close to 100%, because those things are nagging, and that could nag him for a long time. So I'm sure that Steve Donahue, their head trainer this season, has got him healthy.
Teixeira runs, and Swisher grounds it to Getz, who looked to second base, but he'll take the sure out. Runner at second with 1 out. The Fan of the Game sweepstakes is going on now at Olathe Fiat, and you could win a new Fiat 500 Pop. Finalists for the grand prize drawing will be announced here on Fox Sports Kansas City, and in July, 1 fan will win the Fiat 500 Pop. Look for rules and enter now at Olathe Fiat. Raul Ibanez was a pinch hitter and only had 1 at bat in the first 2 games, and then 0 for 4 in left field last night.
Did we get a chance to talk about Raul Ibanez and what an outstanding human being this guy is, and what a good attitude he has, and those two things are important in getting your service time in the majors and making the most out of your opportunities. This guy has done that.
We talked the other night about his 2001 season with the Royals, and the Mariners loved him, but he had become a dead pole hitter with not much power, and so the Mariners non-tendered him. The Royals got him on a minor league deal, and they designated him for assignment twice in the span of 5 weeks. He could have elected to become a free agent, but he stayed with the Royals, and before going down to AAA the second time, he took the time that was allotted to him before reporting and worked out with all people Kevin Seitzer. There's a nasty pitch in on his hands, and it's 1-2. Kevin Seitzer got him to start using the whole field, and he went back down to AAA, wasn't there very long, came back to the big leagues, and he hasn't stopped hitting since.
Well, that tells me a lot, but one thing that stands out is that he was humble. He had a good attitude. He didn't big league him and say, oh, I'm leaving. I'm a big leaguer. I'll go somewhere else. He stayed there and he learned and he worked it out. That's what you do. You work through some of the difficulties you have.
Over Hosmer, and Teixeira is going to be waved home. Meyer plays it to second base. Now, interesting, Rex, the pitch before that was in on Ibanez and tied him up. And maybe Hochevar went to the well one too many times.
He might have. They tried to see if they could get him. The pitch before, though, I would throw the same thing again. Watch Ibanez's reaction. This is called pitching inside with effect. That's a good pitch right there. So they went back in there and maybe just left it out over a little bit. It's a game of inches. It's two inches out over the plate, a little bit more than that last pitch. And Mitch Meyer did the right thing. Even though Teixeira was freezing on the line drive as a runner at second, you want to keep the double play in order, so Mitch Meyer threw to the right base.
Grounded foul by Martin. I like the approach because you and I discussed this last night. Remember when we were talking about a pitcher seems to have a hitter beat with a pitch, well, stick with it. And getting another look at the replay there, that fastball started in, but then backed up over the plate where Ibanez could handle it.
And there's some smart hitting on Ibanez's part too. He thought they might come back in there again, so he was ready. He was geared up for it.
So that was a leadoff walk that leads to a run. That's the first time in this series, and this is a 4-game series against the Yankees, who normally walk a lot. That's the first time in this series a Royals walk has turned into a Yankee run. One of a few reasons why the Royals have a 2-1 advantage so far in the series.
No, and that's a good stat.
Russell Martin is 5 for 9 in this series with the Royals, including an impressive home run off the windows of the Royals Hall of Fame last night.
But Hochevar, that's a long ways. Hochevar's a different pitcher today. He's got a little different demeanor about him, and that's important. You see that beautiful structure out there behind that Hall of Fame building is so interesting to go in there and see all those artifacts in there.
Grounded to Moustakas. Royals get the out at second base. Gets with a nice turn. Yankees tie the game. Royals prevent further damage with the double play.
Credit Meyer for that.
Mama's lap, and someday Mom and Dad can sign her up for Slugger's Blue Crew, presented by U.S. Toy. Kids will be part of the fun all year long, as membership includes a Royals batting practice jersey, a backpack, a water bottle, ticket vouchers, front of the line access for every Sunday fun run, and much more, and all that for just $20. You can join now at Royals.com/Blue Crew. So Mitch Meyer leads off, and right as we were going to break, you were reminding us about his play in right field to keep the double play in order, and Hochevar ends up getting a double play.
Early in the game, do the little things. Now, the fact that it was a line shot, Teixeira froze, so there was time to probably at least make an attempt to get him at home or throw the cutoff man. But since he didn't, he was fundamentally correct. That's what happened. Got two.
Lifted to center field, and Curtis Granderson is there for the out. Here's our Time Warner speed pitch comparison. Phil Hughes and Luke Hochevar. Hughes at 95 miles an hour. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. And I bring up his velocity because last year that was a concern. Velocity dropped quite a bit in spring training after an 18-win season in 2010. And Phil Hughes spent some time on the disabled list last year because of right arm fatigue. Teixeira goes to the bag, and there are two down, setting up the first major league at bat for Irving Falou, who was into the Royals system in 2003, and what a journey it has been for him to get to the big leagues today. Rookie ball. He was a player of the year twice for a team in the minor leagues, and a few years at AAA Omaha. Now here he is. May the 6th, 2012 against Phil Hughes, and taking ball one outside.
All of that time that he put in down there has paid off for this moment right here. 949 games coming into this at bat. He's a big leaguer now.
And he rips it into the right field corner, and that's fair. And look at Falou fly around the bases. On his way to third with a triple.
Yes.
Irving Falou has arrived.
And Mom and Dad's here too. Outstanding. First big league at bat. He didn't stop at second. He says, I'm going to show you some skills. I've been waiting for a long time to get up here. So they'll get that ball, throw it in. Fastball right over the plate. Short, quick swing. Plays in front of him until he gets to second base. Then he picked up Eddie Rodriguez. Eddie Rodriguez said, come on. When the play's behind you, you let your third base coach help you, and he did that. Here's the family.
Recording it on the phone.
Congratulations, Irving.
I guess we should have informed the family that we'll get him a nice DVD. His mother, Sylvia, sitting next to his brother, Peter, and Peter has his two kids, 8-year-old Iram and 4-year-old Yamika.
Not only did Irving wait, the family waited too. Oh, that makes me a little emotional. Be happy for that young man. And he got in scoring position with 2 outs, and maybe they can get a big hit here and score a run as well.
Quintero 0 for his last 16. And just a little bit outside, and Phil Hughes standing on the mound and staring down home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez. That's a name I don't remember, so I would assume that he would be a minor league fill-in. And he's had a few pitches, Phil Hughes has, in the first couple of innings that he and Russell Martin thought should be strikes. So Quintero gets another pitch, and same area, and if Gonzalez is going to call the first one a ball, he should do the same with that one.
Manny Gonzalez. Doesn't have a lot of time up here.
Still 2-2 on Quintero. And Quintero ends up striking out, and that's Phil Hughes' second strikeout. Irving Falou, and Irving Falou around the bases.
Dig yourself, Irving. You just got yourself a big league knock.
Get old for Irving Falou, getting a triple in his first big league at bat. Alex Rodriguez personally handing the ball to him before Eddie Rodriguez fires it over to the Royals dugout, and Rex saying that you can't help get a little emotional watching him run around the bases, and that's because you know what it's like to spend that kind of time in the minor leagues.
You know, and it's just amazing, this guy here, what he's gone through. And the fact that he finally waited for this opportunity to get here in his first AB. Now, it took me several to get my first hit. But in his first AB to not only just get a lousy single, how about a triple? And he ran the bases. He got a chance to let people see his running skills.
Dwayne Wise begins the second inning with a solid base hit to right field.
You know, I've been doing some reading and some books on guys that are inspirational and motivational. I came up with this quote from Tony Dungy. The missing ingredient for accomplishing most dreams is perseverance. When you're wrestling with doubts, stay the course. Don't be persuaded to give up. If those ideas of quitting persist, talk yourself out of it and stay on your goal, and you'll get to it. Tony Dungy, thank you. That fits Mr. Falou perfectly.
And now Jeter bunting. Remember, he was having fun with Moustakas earlier in the game about just that. So Jeter has 2 more hits. He continues to lead the league in that category. That's 48 on the year, and we're just 1 month into the season.
Perfect touch here by a Hall of Famer. That's a Hall of Fame vote or bunt. Moustakas said it was do or die. And earlier when he stepped in the batter's box, you know, I saw Jeter. I knew exactly what he's doing. He's messing with Moustakas. And, hey, look, there was something behind that. He's a competitor. He's saying, I'll beat you.
He's added 10 more points to his average, so he's back up to 400, and now 2 on and nobody out. And ball 1 outside to Curtis Granderson, who flied to left in the first inning, and that was after Jeter doubled. The Yankees had a runner at second and nobody out, but Hochevar got Granderson to fly out to left, Rodriguez to ground to short, and Cano to ground out to first. And Jeter never advanced beyond second base. And now 2 balls and no strikes. Granderson, in addition to the 41 home runs and the 119 RBIs last year, he led the major leagues with 136 runs scored. And that's pulled past Hosmer and into right field. Wise comes around third to score, and the Yankees have 3 straight hits in the third to take a 2-1 lead.
Okay, Hochevar's going to have to find a way to get him to hit it at somebody if you can. Your best chances are to keep it down with some off-speed pitches. Just out of the reach of Eric Hosmer.
And now the same situation for Alex Rodriguez, and it gets a little more frightening, I think, every time he comes to the plate, because he hasn't done anything really yet in this series. Hochevar jumps ahead with strike 1.
Veteran players don't press.
And Rodriguez, maybe his impact is that he's hit by a pitch which loads the bases for the Yankees, and maybe his way of getting back to Hochevar was to throw the ball back to Luke, and Luke didn't want any part of it.
Like the fact that Hochevar didn't want it. Hit him on that pad anyway. So watch this. Don't see that very often. Hochevar says, no thanks. Pick your base.
My favorite highlight of all time, similar to that one, and this was probably around the time you were in the Yankee organization. Somebody hit Matt Noakes with a pitch, and it wedged in between his elbow and his rib cage. It just stuck there. And he grabbed it, and he fired it back to the pitcher.
I remember that.
Oh, outstanding. By the way, maybe you noticed when Granderson got his single and the RBI that they removed the ball from the game. And the reason was that was his 1,000th career base hit.
Wow.
And now they're loaded up with nobody out, and Robinson Cano at the plate, and he falls into that same category as Alex Rodriguez. Just afraid that he's going to bust out any second. He is a very quiet 3-for-13 in the series, and very quiet with just 1 home run and 4 RBIs all year.
Nobody out, bases loaded. Perfect scenario for Hochevar is to get a punch out and a double play ball. He hopes that'll happen.
Cano out in front. Good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Excellent changeup. Yankees, with the bases loaded this year, 6 for 24 with a .250 average. Changeup fading away. Perfect spot. And a good pitch to stay with to get a rollover double play if he makes contact.
High and away, 2 balls, 1 strike. Luke's tempo is really slowed down. And the Royals a bit concerned, and they have Luis Mendoza warming up in the bullpen.
You know, after his previous outings where he's had some big innings, I don't blame him.
And Cano, right center field and deep for a grand slam. That's the 8th of his career, and this isn't so much about Luke Hochevar. This is just about you can only hold down guys like Rodriguez, and Cano and Teixeira so long in a 4-game series. Eventually they're going to do something. And with that grand slam, Robinson Cano doubles his RBI total for the year.
Okay, this ball was down, but Cano wanted to get it up so he could get at least a sacrifice fly, but he caught more of the ball than Hochevar wanted. And there's another.
Teixeira all the way back to the screen, and Mitch Meyer makes a great catch. Didn't sound great off the bat, but Teixeira still strong enough to drive it to the screen, and Meyer makes a nice play, and that's the first out of the inning.
Mitch Meyer shaking his head. I'm not sure why. Maybe he had a hard time with that ball in the sun, but that's an excellent catch there. Very difficult to do that. Reach back over the ball, slicing away from him off of the left-handed bat of Teixeira. That's a nice play. Really focus here. That extra slow motion. You can't lose your eyes on that ball. Love the super slow motion camera. It's called the Foxmo camera. Try to put that in different positions in different games so we can give you different angles.
There's Morgan Kramer, being modest as always.
Way to go, Morgan. He's giving the camera the credit when really he's the one who runs it.
That's right.
Atta baby. Love it.
Piano doesn't play itself.
No.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Swisher. And Swisher gets on top of 1. That's a 6-run inning for the Yankees, and they lead 7-1 in the 3rd inning. Well, they were trying to go high on Swisher, and the pitch before that was just too high and not tempting. And Nick Swisher, and he's still kind of hobbled by the hamstring, but that's his team-leading 24th RBI of the year.
Well, he knew he got that right away. Trying to come inside, ball drifts back over the plate. It's elevated, and unfortunately for Hochevar, he'll have to try it again next start.
That's the 2nd time for him in his last 2 starts that he has given up 5 runs in an inning, 6 this time without getting 1 out, and the 6th run coming after the 1st out. So a Chevy call to the bullpen in the 3rd inning, and it's Luis Mendoza. Yankees have struggled to score runs lately. They have 7 runs today in fewer than 3 innings, and 6 here in the 3rd. It is a family fun day Sunday for the fans, at least, and you can bring the kids to the ballpark every Sunday, and they'll enjoy face painters, balloon artists, kids entertainment by Radio Disney, and much more. Sundays at the ballpark is your family destination. Go to Royals.com/Sunday for more information and for tickets. So, for all intents and purposes now, this is a start for Luis Mendoza.
And that's what he has to tell himself. Forget the score. I'm going to take it the rest of the way for you, boss. I want to start again sometime. That's the only way he'll get that chance, is if he tries to hold him right there. And he's got some ability to do that. Good sinking fastball. A slider curve, a little change up. He's going to mix his pitches, but mainly he's a sinker baller. But unfortunately for Luke, when a guy leaves that early, you get a guy come in, that presents an opportunity for the next guy. And that's the way baseball is. Like Mariano Rivera, very unfortunate and terrible freak injury to him. Well, who's going to get the next opportunity? Looks like Robertson.
Yeah, it's not like when a save situation comes up now, they're just going to open up the bullpen gate and nobody's going to come out to honor Mariano Rivera. I mean, somebody has to take over that role, and now Luke Hochevar in 6 starts, his ERA is 9. That's got to be incredibly deflating for him because of the second half that he had last year. A solid second half, a good second half, very consistent. What he and the Royals have been waiting for since coming into the Royals system. And then he had a very good start against the Angels. And then after getting bombed by the Indians during the home opener, he was able to brush that aside and was good against Toronto, and then was able to redeem himself against that same Cleveland Indians team that got 7 runs off of him in the first inning. And now back-to-back tough starts against the Tigers and the Yankees. Two and two on Ibanez, who fouls it to first base coach Mick Kelleher.
They're giving Mick a hard time, calling him frying pan hands.
And Mendoza throws a great pitch to Ibanez, who strikes out. Quintero lost track of the outs.
Oh well.
Maybe it was just wishful thinking that was the 3rd out of the inning.
Watch him. He just puts his head down and he says, all right, let's get that offense going.
And here's Russell Martin, Yankee catcher, who grounded into a double play to end the 2nd inning. So you look at this big inning allowed by Hochevar, and then you have to go back to the 1st inning. He gave up a double on the very first pitch, but then buckled down, got the next 3. A walk turned into a run in the 2nd inning, but was able to get the double play from Martin to hold the Yankees at 1. And then just nothing went right for him in this 6-run 3rd inning.
Gonna have to figure out a way to stop the bleeding.
1 ball, 2 strikes. High in the air to left field, a very bright day, and Alex trying to get the right angle to keep the ball out of the glare, and he does. The Yankees bat around and they score 6. And Irving Falou, who got his first major league hit earlier, reminds us that Miller time is coming up later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Falou in his first big league game. And second big league pitch, tripled into the right field corner with his mom and his brother and his nephew and niece in from Puerto Rico. Still getting handshakes in the dugout.
And that'll continue. But you mentioned it's still early, and Phil Hughes with a over 7 ERA isn't exactly a CC Sabathia. So you know what? That's what hitters tell themselves. Okay, guys, look, we've got a little ways to go here. Let's start pecking away on him, try to get him out of the game. See if we can come back on him.
With pecking away being the key, and not trying to make up all those runs in one inning. A run here, 2 runs there, another couple runs there, and then you're back into the game.
Okay, look at, speaking of pecking away, look at that, right up the middle. Look at that big hole. Big hole right there between these two fielders here. This guy and this guy there, a lot of area. All you got to do is shorten up your swing. Don't try to hit a homer like you said. Dyson hasn't been doing that. I think he's only got a couple pop-ups and flyouts.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So when you're a hitter like that, you don't look up in the strike zone. You look down. Anything up there, try to lay off of.
And you hear about a hitter wanting to shorten up with 2 strikes, meaning that he's going to have a little more bat control. Might not be able to drive the ball as much as you'd like when you shorten up, but you have a more control as to where you're going to hit the ball.
I wish guys played more pepper. I really do. That art has been gone for several years.
There's probably a lot of people listening now who don't even know what pepper is because it hasn't been played in so long.
Okay, pepper is you play it with as many as 2 guys. The more fielders you have, you spread out about 10 feet away from each other. And you have one batter and everybody has their glove. And you hit it to each other. You hit it to the left, hit it to the middle, hit it to the right. What that does is you have fun doing that. The fielder can work on his quick hands, and the batter mainly can work on bat control, just guiding the ball where you want to hit it, and it serves its purpose. We used to do it before games for fun, to go out in the outfield. Nowadays, you see no pepper signs around the padding around home plate, but you don't even see the signs anymore because nobody even plays pepper anymore. And it's a great tool for bat control.
Dyson drives it the other way, slicing into the corner, and it is just foul.
Oh, man. He put a charge into that one. He's got a good AB going here. He's seen a lot of pitches here. Even if he's not successful in winning this at bat, it'll go as a good AB. Attacks the pitch count.
Strikes him out. Took 10 pitches to do so, and Hughes has struck out Dyson twice. That's 3 strikeouts for Phil Hughes and brings up Alex Gordon. Alex with 1 out in the first, walked on 4 pitches, and Billy Butler doubled him in. With 4 hits last night against the Yankees, it's still early enough in the season where you can add several points to your batting average, and Alex added 30. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yep. Anything under 200 at bats you can climb makes significant climbs in your average with some multi-hit games. And I'm sure that he knows that, Eric Hosmer. There's no panic there.
Three and 1. Alex in his last 9 games is hitting almost 450. Hughes gets him to pop up, and now the Yankees fighting the glare, and Rodriguez takes charge on the left side. And there are 2 outs. Billy Butler comes to the plate, and we'll look at our Toyota League leaders for today. Billy with an RBI double in the first inning. And the Royals were in front 1-0, so that gives him 6 go-ahead RBIs. Second only to Josh Hamilton. Billy with 20 RBIs overall.
We talked about what the Royals need to do offensively to get back in this game. If you're Phil Hughes and you're 1-4, you're saying, all right, now I got a chance to get myself righted. I'm going to go right after these guys. My teammates got me a lead. Let's try to figure it out here.
A little bit out in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Billy. He is a big man, Phil Hughes, 6'5", 240 pounds, 25 years old. He was the Yankees' first-round pick in 2004. 2-2. And we'll do it again.
Hughes cutting his fastball again. He's sinking it. Got a 4-seamer, so that's 3 variations off of his fastball he uses. And he got a knuckle curve. That's just with 1 knuckle up, the index fingers up, and it kind of push it. It helps a little bit more over the overhand break. And a changeup. So he's got some effective pitches, no question. There's the knuckle curve.
Throw down to first to complete the strikeout. Hughes strikes out 2 in the third. Third inning, all off Luke Hochaver. Now Mendoza is in there, and here's our Sprint You Call It question for today. Who was more dominant in his era? Raleigh Fingers, Dan Quisenberry with the Royals, Dennis Eckersley with the A's, or Mariano Rivera since 2000? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space, then A, B, C, or D. There's Dennis Eckersley on the TBS national broadcast with John Smoltz to the left, Brian Anderson on the right.
Ooh, there's a couple of outstanding pitchers.
And John Smoltz for a time was a dominant closer.
I'm going to say that Smoltz gets in the Hall of Fame. We just saw 2 Hall of Famers. Now, do I get to vote?
Yeah, absolutely. This is America, you know.
How about if I left my phone at home?
No, you have the privilege of just saying it, and we'll add it to the total.
All right. I'm going to go with Quiz.
He is of the old guard of closers where it wasn't just coming on in the 9th inning. Dan Quisenberry was the old fireman. He wasn't just the closer to get the last 3 outs. He would come in when there was a fire. That might be in the 7th inning. It might be in the 8th. And when he would come in, he would close out the entire game.
I accidentally hit a double off of him one time.
Accidentally? Did you apologize?
No, but man, was I giddy at second base.
Hosmer plays it at first, and Mendoza gets to the bag in front of Dwayne Wise. We were just talking about the Pine Tar game, and it was Pine Tar bat day yesterday. Dan Quisenberry getting a ground ball to second base. Was that Oscar Gamble?
Yeah, you don't see that stance too often
No.
anymore. It was fun to watch Oscar, but look at Quiz. That's the Duke, John Walton. That's Sluggo, Don Slott.
Yep. And there he is on the side of the Royals Hall of Fame out in left field. Derek Jeter is 2 for 2, and now he's hitting .400. He has 8 hits in this series. Eckersley, I think, when we go from fireman to the modern day closer, he was the guy that kind of helped shape the modern day closer when Tony La Russa moved him from the rotation to the bullpen. Jeter got jammed badly and grounds out to Chris Getz, 2 down. And remember, Justin Verlander won the Cy Young and the MVP last year. The pitcher to do that before Justin Verlander was Dennis Eckersley in 1992 with the A's, when he won both the American League MVP award and American League Cy Young. And right now it's down to Quisenberry and Mariano Rivera. Ball one to Curtis Granderson, who drove in a run, picked up his 1,000th career hit in the 3rd inning with a single. He's 1 for 2. And that's through the right side. Granderson has a 2-hit game.
Mendoza's going to mix them up, keep the ball down. Sinker, slider, change up, and a curve.
Riding fastball moves Rodriguez off the plate. Hochevar nailed him on the left elbow in the 3rd inning, right before the Robinson Cano grand slam.
Well, you know, when you got that elbow pad on there, it feels like a mosquito bite.
That's a swing. He didn't mean to, and it's 1-1.
Okay, did you see Alex tapping his hat 3 or 4 times there? That's a body language sign to the umpire he's in his vision. Kind of like for him to step aside, please.
Fouls it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
When you've been around the league, you know what to do. Okay, he's not waving to a buddy in the stands. He didn't just saluted the umpire for moving. And when you're new into the league, you go like this with your hand. You know, you kind of say, hey, can you move out of the way, until you learn that's the sign they use. If you're a hitter, you will use.
Granderson takes off, and a 1-2 pitch is chopped to Moustakas, and that will end the inning. The Yankees are scoreless in the 4th. They lead, however, 7-1. Brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealer. By Panera Bread, 23 KC Metro locations and now open in Brookside. Visit us online at PaneraKansas.com. And by AT&T, the world's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. New York Yankees, prior to today, had lost 4 of their last 6 games and had only scored 13 runs in those 6 games. And they came up with 6 runs in the 3rd inning, scoring 5 of those before an out was recorded, and they have a 7-1 lead to the bottom of the 4th, and Phil Hughes throws ball 1 to Eric Hosmer, who was out on a fly ball to left field in the 1st inning. Two balls and no strikes. The Royals actually had a 1-0 lead after Billy Butler doubled in another run. He drove in Alex Gordon in the 1st, and now the Yankees have scored the last 7 runs. 2-1.
Okay, Eric wants to keep that up the middle approach. Let the ball travel a little bit deeper, but try to just go back up the middle. Or if you get a cookie, go ahead and turn on one. But he's trying too hard. He's pulling off the ball.
Going to try and pitch him inside. It's out over the plate, and Hosmer slashes it foul.
Okay, he waited on that one, but that was a pitch that he missed.
Cano runs to the middle and flips back to first for the out. This MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. That's greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. 1 strike on Mike Moustakas. He popped out to short in the 1st inning. One ball, 1 strike. This was a big day for Phil Hughes as Andy Pettitte continues to get closer to the big leagues, and the feeling being that if Hughes did not have a good start today, that it could be his spot that Andy Pettitte eventually takes as he comes back after retiring following the 2010 season and didn't play last year. Driven to deep center field. Granderson won't get it. Moustakas checks into second base with a 1-out double.
All right, the Moose got extended. No chance for Granderson. Get this one right over the middle of the plate. 1-out double. That's his 10th double now. That puts him amongst the league leaders.
Came into the game tied for 3rd, and now he's 3rd all by himself.
Well, the Yankees had considerable success in postseason, especially when they moved Phil Hughes to the bullpen. Okay, and with Andy Pettitte getting ready, whether Hughes does well or not, they're going to have to make room for Pettitte. And I would expect that possibly that could happen. I don't know for sure, but it depends on the other starters, how their health is and all that. But Joe Girardi will have a decision he'll have to make whenever his former ace lefty's ready. And Hughes can pitch out of the pen. They know that.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about Phil Hughes' best season in the big leagues. That was 2010 when he went 18-8. Well, the year before that, he was the primary setup man for Mariano Rivera. So not only does he know how to pitch in the bullpen, but he knows how to pitch in what they call high leverage situations.
And with the unfortunate injury of Mariano, they could use an arm like his out there. So it kind of makes sense.
Joe Girardi's team last year won 97 games. They were not playing well at all when the Royals were there in May and won the series. And Yankees ended up winning their division by 6 games, but then were bumped out in the first round of the playoffs by the Tigers. Joe Girardi, the former Yankee catcher, now in his 5th season as Yankee manager. His number when he first joined the Yankees was number 27 because he was shooting for their 27th World Championship, and they got that. Girardi as manager in 2009, so he switched his number to number 28. So that's the reminder every day when he puts the uniform on. Next to former Royals manager Tony Pena, now Girardi's bench coach. Meyer down on strikes. 5 strikeouts for Phil Hughes. Here's our AT&T trivia question for today. Who are the only 2 pitchers to lead their league in saves 5 times? 2 pitchers to lead their league in saves 5 times. Ball 1 to Chris Getz. Well, I'm going to start within the house. I think Dennis Eckersley is one of them.
I'm going to stay with Quiz.
Yeah, I like that one.
I'm going all day with Dan Quisenberry on all trivia.
Fouled away by Chris Getz. 2 balls, 1 strike. He popped out to first in the 2nd inning. Now, if we stay within the house, you know, the obvious next answer would be Mariano Rivera.
Well, these are some great questions here because there are some great closers presently in of the 90s, 80s, 70s.
Hughes gets a glove on it, and he'll take care of Getz. So nothing is made of the Moustakas double. And at the end of 4, the Yankees still lead 7-1. For the Royals, they do have an RBI double from Billy Butler, and Irving Falou in his first major league game has his first major league hit with a 2-out triple in the 2nd inning. We could answer our AT&T trivia question. Who are the only 2 pitchers to lead their league in saves 5 times? How about Lee Smith?
Good call.
You're going to go with Dan Quisenberry. Bruce Sutter. who is a Hall of Famer. And talking about Hiroki Kuroda's forkball yesterday, Bruce Sutter, maybe one of the best forkballs ever. Steve Kurtenbach tells me that Lee Smith led the league 4 times in his career, led the league 4 times in saves. Can't forget Jeff Montgomery, who I think one year tied for the league lead in saves. I remember he was the Rolaids Relief Man of the Year in the American League. I think 1993, 45 saves. First pitcher in Major League history to have all 300 saves with one team, right? Or all of his 300 saves with one team. Is that right?
Monty.
And then Mariano Rivera after that. That's a fair ball. Hosmer throws from foul ground and gets Robinson Cano, who hit a grand slam. That was the big hit in the Yankees' 6-run third inning.
Yeah, you know, that's what gave everybody, the Yankees on their team and their fans, some breathing room. Watch this. Man, the ball was out over the plate. It wasn't up, elevated. He put a good lift on it.
You ever stood next to Robinson Cano?
Yes, I have.
You know, the look these days is to wear the baggy pants and the baggy jerseys, and so you don't really get a feel for how big some of these guys are. And he is a big man. I mean, he doesn't look big because he's proportioned, but he has huge hands. And when you think second baseman, even though we've seen him hit for power as a Yankee, I mean, you walk by him, I mean, he looks like he could be playing on the other side of the parking lot.
And you know, Derek Jeter, you would look at him and go, wow, he's a thin guy. He's tall and athletic. I mean, he has that look. I mean, he's got to be 6'4". I don't know what they list him at. But I got to tell you about that guy right there. I saw him in the workout room, and I looked at his thighs. His thighs just stood out. I went, gosh, those are hockey thighs. Those are, you know, they were big and bulky, you know. And so that's you made the point of the style now is the players wear their pants so loose, so you really can't see what kind of athletes these guys are.
Now, how did Alex feel about you staring at his thighs in the workout room?
I just looked the other way quickly and shook my head, and I go, "Cheese crackers, man! Put a leash around them things." Wow! And he laughed. I said, were you born like that, or no, Hud? Do a lot of squat work, a lot of leg work. You know, these guys, that's just their job. It's not like the old days where they had to get a job in the off season and they couldn't work out. Nowadays, it's a year-round thing. So when they come to camp, you could do a week's load of laundry on their abs, on their washboard, on their stomach, and therefore you're seeing the numbers higher in this generation and better athletes because they can focus more on their bodies.
Teixeira will go down to first inning with 1 out. Second time he's been on today. Oh, I hope you'll bring your kids to the largest educational field trip in town. It's School Day at the K, Thursday, May 17th. Kids will learn about the weather from Chief Meteorologist Mike Thompson, and you'll see great demonstrations by the Fox 4 weather team starting at 10 a.m. Then stay for the game as the Royals play the Baltimore Orioles. So School Day at the K, Thursday, May 17th. That's a 1:10 game.
Wow. I want to touch that too. Look, you see his sister. Wow, that's a cool haircut.
A strike to Swisher. The Yankees nearly hit 3 consecutive home runs. Cano hit the grand slam, and then Teixeira took Mitch Meyer to the fence in right field. Meyer made a very good catch, and then Swisher hit one out of sight for his 7th home run and his team leading 24th RBI. And home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez says that Swisher went too far. It's no balls and 2 strikes.
Okay, Swisher, in this at-bat now went to the glasses. That's another advantage to a modern-day player that they have. Cuts the glare down. They can see the ball better. And you don't have to squint. When you squint, it takes energy out of your body.
Good hard breaking ball, strikes out Swisher, and Mendoza has his second strikeout, 2 down in the 5th inning.
Excellent bite to this breaking ball. Mendoza looking good. No chance.
Raul Ibanez drove in the Yankees' first run with a single that tied the game at 1 in the 2nd. And then he was the first hitter to face Mendoza after the pitching change in the 3rd, and Luis struck him out. Raul Ibanez first signed by the Seattle Mariners as a catcher. At the time, however, the Seattle Mariners had a catcher named Dan Wilson, and they had 2 young guys coming up, one named Chris Widger, the other Jason Varitek. And people forget Varitek came up in the Seattle system and then was traded to the Red Sox. So the Mariners moved him to the outfield. He is the Yankees' emergency catcher. Just in case something happens to the first 2 and somebody not on the roster listed as a catcher, it would be Raul Ibanez putting on the gear, and if the same thing happened to the Royals, it would be Mitch Meyer, who was originally drafted as a catcher.
Got to have one of those guys on every team. Now, as athletic as Falou, he would be a candidate if Mitch couldn't do it.
A walk on 4 pitches and 2 walks in the inning by Mendoza. So Quintero will go out and try and get Mendoza back on track. And we'll remind you that interleague play begins in just 12 days. Friday, May 18th, the Arizona Diamondbacks will be in town. Buck Night and Fireworks Friday that night. Hot dogs, peanuts, and soft drinks are just $1. Then stay after the game for Friday Night Fireworks, presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. The Arizona Diamondbacks, who were a big surprise in the National League West last year. They're in 2nd place right now to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that's a team the Royals could look toward. A team with good young players, the Diamondbacks, who just weren't winning, and then all of a sudden they put it together and just ran away with the West.
That's my good friend Kirk Gibson. He's put a little life into that organization. Don Baylor, Matty Williams.
Good coaching staff.
He's got a heck of a coaching staff with a lot of major league service accumulated by all those guys.
And quite a few championship rings. Slow roller up the middle. Falou will play it to first, and that's the inning. Mendoza is able to work around a couple of walks to the bottom of the 5th. Still 7-1 Yankees. Lou will lead off. And as we look at our Mazda highlights from earlier today, a big highlight for Falou.
Oh, and his entire family that's in from Puerto Rico. What a special moment. He got it his first at-bat. He doesn't have to wait and press to try to get that knock. That's the greatest thing. And you know what? He wasn't stopping at second. Why would he? Go ahead, Irving Falou. This guy has passion, energy, and instincts. Not to forget perseverance. Hoping for this guy to get his 10 years in the majors. Never know. He's a utility guy. It can happen. Doesn't have to play every day. He's got athletic skills. Can play any position out there. And knows how to play the game.
And to that end, Ned Yost, when the Royals called up Irving Falou, as far as perseverance goes, has talked about how he hasn't just leveled out as a player, he's continued to get better. And he's not just good at one position, he's good wherever the Royals put him on the infield. And he's not just a good hitter from one side of the plate, he's a good hitter from both sides of the plate.
Put all that together, that's a big leaguer. You want guys like that on your team.
Stroke to right field, and he is 2 for 2.
Go ahead, Irvin. Have a day, buddy. See, he's confident. We talked about he's with all of his buddies that he played with. He's been spent his entire career with the Royals, so he's comfortable. Good still head. Joe stays right down through it. His top hand fell off and kind of slipped off it, but when you're going good,
Next half.
you get your second knock. Game's not that easy.
Okay, or I can wait, whatever you want.
And a strike to Humberto Quintero, trying to get through a bad time right now. And Hughes struck him out in the second inning. He's 0 for his last 17. And the league lately has been getting Quintero to swing at quite a few pitches out of the strike zone, like that first pitch from Phil Hughes. Oh and 2. Quintero got off to a great start for the Royals. And with the Royals losing Salvador Perez until the end of June, maybe early July, Brian Pena and Quintero both got off to good starts at the plate. One time they were both hitting at 360.
Looks to me like he's just getting a little pull happy for some reason. He's still trying to pull that outside pitch, and his success was going the other way.
Caught by Cano, 1 down. Well, if you're excited for this year's All-Star game, come out to Kauffman Stadium Saturday, May 19th for an exclusive 2012 All-Star Garden Gnome presented by Pepsi. Gnomes will be given out to the first 10,000 fans as the Royals take on the Diamondbacks at 6:15. So make sure you get here early. The gates will open at 4:30. Dyson's had a tough time against Phil Hughes with a couple of strikeouts. He was hitless last night. Dyson had an 8-game hitting streak. And a breaking ball drops in for a strike, and it's 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes from Hughes to Gerard Dyson.
Derek Jeter told Phil Hughes, hey, On a comebacker to you, you're working with Cano. I'm going to play him over here in this hole.
But Jeter will end up with a pop-up, shading his eyes with his glove. 2 outs.
Okay, sunglasses help so much in a day like this. I mean, I can't tell you what a difference that makes. Before that, before they invented glasses you could wear on the field like that, it was a strain. It was kind of a struggle. Bright days, you're squinting. I mentioned it earlier about the energy it takes from you. So it's really a nice luxury for players to wear. You can relax your eyes during a game.
In the dirt, and Falou will move up to second base on a wild pitch.
Okay, doing the little things. That's what this guy Falou does so well.
And doing the little things and focusing and playing hard in the 7-1 game.
He's playing with a sense of urgency. He doesn't want to go back. The one thing I learned is if you don't hack, they'll send you back. But so far, Irving Falou's 2 for 2.
And by moving up to second base, he'll be waved home on the base hit from Alex Gordon. So Falou has his first major league run, and it's 7-2.
A lot of firsts continue to happen for Falou. There's a ball all over the plate. Gordon didn't try to do too much with it, but Falou, he really nice jump. He took right off.
Billy Butler put the Royals in front with a double and an RBI in the first inning. And he goes the other way. But Wise in front of the warning track makes the catch to end the inning. Royals get a run. They're down by 5 at the end of 5. Getting to the big leagues, a lot of it obviously has to do with talent, Rex, but some of it has to do with just getting the opportunity. And for Falou, it comes late, but he's 2 for 2 in his first big league game.
That's right, Ryan. Sometimes, just being in the wrong place, the wrong time, things haven't happened for him here as being an everyday shortstop, but they will happen being a super sub, a guy that could do a lot of things for a team. Those are guys that are extremely valuable. And after my 963 games I played in AAA or in minor league baseball, I was fortunate enough to get my 10 years in the majors, and so will he if he keeps his focus and keeps doing what he's doing, doesn't give up, continues to do the little things and do them well like he's doing in this game. He can get his time in. He's only 28.
Dwayne Wise, after the first pitch, hits it right to Chris Getz. Wise is 1 for 3. It was his single that started the Yankees' 6-run third inning, and the biggest hit in the inning was Cano's grand slam. All 7 runs charged to Luke Hochevar. Luis Mendoza took over in the third and recorded the final 2 outs. So he's been in there since the third and has now pitched 3 innings without allowing a run. Derek Jeter, 2 hits, another run scored. He's 2 for 3 and batting .397 as Mendoza pitches him inside. Jeter hit his 5th home run of the season and another big inning for the Yankees, a 4-run 7th on Friday. He only hit 6 home runs all of last year and didn't get his 5th until September the 4th.
I remember Derek Jeter's first year, 1996. I was with the Angels, and we were playing in New York. And somehow I got on second base, and he walked over and he said, "Hey, Rex, how are you?" He knew my name. He's a rookie. He was a good student of the game. He knew his surroundings. And that season, he went on and hit .314 and won the Rookie of the Year. And he played in 150-something games. Outstanding. What a year.
Yankees won the World Series that year.
157 games he played.
Jeter on for the 3rd time, 1 on, 1 out. We've been talking about Irving Falu's big day. It's also a big day for his family, and Joel Goldberg is sitting with them right now.
Yeah, they're right behind me, Ryan. I actually went and just talked to him a little while ago. Both his mother, Sylvia, and his brother, Peter, did not really want to go on camera to speak English. They're much more comfortable speaking in Spanish, but I can tell you what, that is a very proud mother, a very, very proud brother, and his niece and nephew are really excited, too. Just talking to both of them, and they both said that they are so excited about this. They were a little bit nervous, too, and they have been working these cell phones, texting anyone and everyone they can share the news with. His brother just told me at least 20 texts going back and forth right now, and they are extremely proud. His big brother, obviously, you can imagine what a moment this is to see his little brother. And one other thing, guys, I noticed last night, right as I was getting ready to interview Alex Gordon, I saw Falou walking off the field, and this is why I knew his family must have been here. He didn't play last night. Looked up and started waving with a huge smile on his face. Obviously excited to see them all the way in from Puerto Rico.
Well, Rex, like you said, I mean, they're part of this, too. I mean, they've been supporting him in his dream all these years, and he has really hung in there, and what a day for him. Sure would like to see the Royals get a win, but he hasn't had any problems at shortstop. Alcides Escobar getting the day off, and at the plate he is 2 for 2. Slider is in for a strike, and Mendoza is 0-2 with Alex Rodriguez. Line to center field, and it'll drop in front of Dyson. Bobbled by Dyson for a moment, but Jeter will stop at second base. And that's just the 3rd hit for Rodriguez in the series. All hits are singles.
Mendoza doing a nice job. Got 2 outs here. Wants to try to finish it off against Cano, who really put some damage on the board against the Royals and wants to get out of this inning. But Mendoza looks good. He's mixing up his pitches, keeping them down for the most part. Hadn't given up any runs.
Well, Cano and I mentioned it right before the Grand Slam. I mean, every time he and Alex Rodriguez have been coming up the past couple of days, it's like, man, something's going to happen with the numbers that they put up. And Cano had just 1 home run and 4 RBIs all year before his Grand Slam in the 3rd inning. Coming off 2 big seasons for the Yankees last year and 2010. Foul off the left field line, 0-1. Last year, 28 home runs, 118 RBIs, batting over 300. 319 the year before that with 29 home runs, 109 RBIs, 25 home runs the year before that. And when you're on a good team with a lot of veterans, the Yankees have the luxury. At Cano's first 2 or 3 years, he batted 7th or 8th. You know, just put him down in a spot where there isn't a lot of pressure, so he can come along slowly. And when he was ready to break out, well, that's when the Yankees moved him up in the order. And he's batting 4th today.
Mendoza has him down 0-2. Good breaking ball.
One ball, 2 strikes. In addition to being productive, Robinson Cano has been very durable for the Yankees. He has led them in games played the last 5 years. Walk by Quintero. It's 2-2.
Tell you, Falou out there at shortstops. Oh, man.
And the throw gets away, and Jeter will go to 3rd.
I was just going to say, he was sneaking in behind Jeter, and the throw came, and Quintero did a little snap to it, and I think it surprised everyone. Okay, the ball gets away. Falou, he starts walking over towards second base. And then here comes the throw. Jeter's not watching, and neither was Falou. Neither one of them. Because, you know, if that ball doesn't hit Derek Jeter, he might have came around and scored on that.
Second error of the year for Humberto Quintero. Fouled back and just below us.
Okay, Quintero caught Jeter and Falou not paying attention, and it hit Falou on the leg. And Jeter goes, "Wow, you know, I wasn't watching either, so I'm going to advance." Had Falou just looked up at the corner out of his eye, he might have been able to catch him attacking there. So I'm going to say Quintero tried to get it out there.
You know, and he didn't come up throwing it hard. He just kind of lobbed it where that caught the Yankees off guard, because from that angle it probably looked like he was just throwing it back to Mendoza. That is 3 2/3 scoreless innings for Luis Mendoza. That's to go. This is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Liz Snyder from Lowry City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Liz wins $2,500. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Liz wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals, with Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, and Mitch Meyer coming up in the 6th inning against Phil Hughes. It'll be the 3rd at bat of the day for those 3 hitters. Hughes has held Hosmer to a fly out to left and a ground out to second base. One ball, one strike.
Joe Girardi's got to be thrilled with what Phil Hughes has given him today. He's given up 5 hits, a couple runs, keeping him off balance, using his fastball. Got a good hammer for that knuckle curve. There it is again.
Big hop, and Teixeira gets it to Hughes for the out. Hosmer is 0 for 3. Tuesday night, when the Boston Red Sox are in town, it's Nurse Appreciation Night, thanks to Teva. Nurses will get a $10 ticket in the Field Plaza by going to Royals.com/Teva. That will be game 2 of 3 with the Red Sox. Series beginning tomorrow night at 7:10. Mike Moustakas doubled in the 4th inning to center field, his 10th of the year. That's 3rd best in the American League. He is 1 for 2. One and one. Curveball is in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yankees are just starting to work in their bullpen, as Hughes has had 95 pitches. And because he has struggled this year, he hasn't pitched very deep into games, only averaging about 88 pitches per start. He hasn't gone more than 5 2/3 innings this year, mostly because of long single innings. He has a couple of 20 pitch innings today.
This mid-90s fastball to go with that knuckle curve he's got. That's what he's using. A pretty good combination of that. He's also mixing in some changeups to the left-handed dominant lineup that Ned Yost sent out there.
7 of the 9 will bat from the left side against Hughes. Fouled off of Martin's mask.
Checking everything, make sure all the bars are intact. I mean, because some of those foul tips break the bar there, and you have to get a new mask. Those are quite hard shots these guys take off of those foul tips.
To center field again. Granderson, who plays shallow, is able to run this one down. So a long out for Moustakas, 2 away, and Mike is 1 for 3.
Okay, he gave it a ride. He's staying on the ball when he hits one like that in the middle of the field.
Mitch Meyer starting in right field today, giving Jeff Francoeur the day off, at least from the starting lineup. And it's Mitch's first start in right field. He made 11 starts in center field before today. He and Irving Falou in the same draft, 2003, but they are not the longest tenured players in the system. It was believed, at least by many of us, that Mitch Meyer and Falou had been in the system the longest. But a player maybe you've heard of if you've been to Royal spring training or at least listened to a broadcast, Mario Lisone, has been in the Royal system since 2002. But as far as players that have made it to the big leagues, Mitch Meyer and Irving Falou are the longest tenured. Phil Hughes, for the first time this year, goes 6 innings. That's 6 strikeouts. He has a 7-2 lead to the 7th inning. Steel. Find a helpful servicing Steel dealer near you. Visit steeldealers.com. By AT&T Uverse, the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Yankees with a 6-run 3rd inning. And a 7-2 lead to the 7th. Luis Mendoza has been a bright spot after Ned Yost had to go to the bullpen and remove Luke Hochevar after 2 1/3 innings. Now Mendoza has gone 3 2/3 scoreless and doing what he does when he's on, keeping the ball down as Teixeira lines it to right. That's only the 3rd time in 12 outs that Mendoza has gotten an out in the air. Everything else has been on the ground or a strikeout. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, with director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the rest of our Fox Sports Kansas City crew. It's turned out to be kind of a muggy day again. The heavy thunderstorms, but with all that rain and the sun poking out, that moisture is kicking up some humidity. Two 2-0 on Nick Swisher.
And you know how important and how valuable Hosmer is, Moustakas, Gordon, to the Royals team on the field. Those guys' names that you just mentioned are our teammates, and we wouldn't be able to put on this telecast without those guys.
Many of them out there in the elements. It does feel better today than yesterday. Now, yesterday is nothing compared to what we're used to in June, July, and August, but it was just a bit out of character to get such a hot, humid day on May 5th. As Swisher is out, he's 1 for 4, and there are 2 down in the 7th inning. Big Donnie Miller, you'll get maybe a little grin from him, but normally with the game face on. Come on, Big Don.
He's got skills, man. That dude, he's got skills. And that.
There's Morgan Kramer. Now, Morgan will do anything for the camera. There's Swanee. Hi, Swanee, right up here in the booth with us. There's Phil out by the Sonic sign in left field. Might want to put a cap on at some point today. Big Don Miller, you know, that's a former NFL linebacker out there.
I see him. I see him get on that nice Harley he rides out here too.
Line to right field. Raul Ibanez with his second hit and the third time he's been on base today. He has a 2-out double.
Okay, he's pulled his hands in. Still got a lot left in his game. It's a good move by the Yankees picking him up. Yankees usually go with veteran guys whenever they need some extra insurance out there.
And they really don't have a true designated hitter like a Billy Butler or a David Ortiz in their division. And what Joe Girardi has done in this series is just kind of rotated guys through the DH spot. Nick Swisher today because of the hamstring strain, but it was Jeter at short on Thursday and then Alex Rodriguez at DH the last 2 games. Raul Ibanez also used at designated hitter.
He had some really good seasons in Philadelphia in 2010 and 11. 16 homers, 20 homers, over 80 RBIs each year. His first year in 09 with Fighting Phils, he hit 34 dingers.
Chop to Falou. He will throw on the run, and that will end the inning. 4 2/3 scoreless for Mendoza.
Goldberg back here as Panera takes us around the league. And Texas loses to Ubaldo Jimenez and the Cleveland Indians. Detroit 2 better than the White Sox in the American League Central. Baltimore and Boston locked up at 5. J.J. Hardy, a pair of home runs in that one. Brandon Inge hits his first home run as an Oakland Athletic. They're on top of Tampa 9-5. Toronto 1-0 over Los Angeles early. And Minnesota and Seattle just underway. Also covered some of the big stories around baseball. Jeff Montgomery and I on Hy-Vee Royals Live. Jeff Weaver with a no-hitter against Minnesota earlier in the week. We talked about that. Also the big news with the Angels. Albert Pujols batting under 200. They're booing him in L.A., and he sat last night. We discussed that. The debut of Bryce Harper. And, of course, Mariano Rivera's injury that happened right here. So we talked about that and some stuff closer to home as well. A rough outing for Mike Montgomery in AAA. Jake Odorizzi, though, had 11 strikeouts last night for Northwest Arkansas. Always plenty going on in the world of baseball. And for what's going on right now, here's Ryan.
And I can add one thing to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Joel, I was listening to one of my apps on the way home last night that allows you to listen to other games, and I got to hear Mark Nasser, the fine announcer at AAA Omaha, call a Johnny Giavotella walk-off home run.
How about that? Johnny's bat has heated up at AAA, and so that's certainly exciting.
What is that, 12 wins in a row now for them at home?
Is
I
it
believe
12?
11 or 12.
Yeah, I know they went on the road and started losing a little bit. I was going to blame it on Everett Teaford, just because I like to do those kind of things.
And it will lead to some good banter with Everett, as always.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Joel. Royals down by 5 and now down to their last 9 outs on offense. Chris Getz, Irving Falou, and Humberto Quintero, as Phil Hughes has a season-high 6 innings, trying to add to that, and pitch count now up to 105. Getz is popped to first and grounded back to Phil Hughes.
Hughes has been in control. Good rhythm he's got going now.
Gets the other way, and it's been that kind of a day on offense. Lines out to Raul Ibanez, 1 away. Rapata and Mitchell were throwing last inning, and now it's Boone Logan, who has already appeared in 2 games in this series, warming up. And now Irving Falou, who has tripled, singled, and scored. So he's had little trouble with Phil Hughes. Both base hits pulled to right field.
Okay, 110 pitches thrown by Phil Hughes, the native of Tustin, California. Going with those fastballs, especially when he got the lead. Perfect afternoon in his major league debut, Irving Falou. Still has a chance to get on there. It's going to be tough 0-2 because Phil Hughes got a nice curveball he's been working in with that fastball.
Ooh. Got him with some high heat. And Phil Hughes has struck out 7 today, and that's the first time he's retired Falou. Yankees last night in the Royals' 5-1 win only got 4 1/3 innings out of Hiroki Kuroda. They got 8 innings out of CC Sabathia on Friday, and then in game 1 on Thursday only got 4 innings out of David Phelps, so they could use another long outing from a starter. And it's no balls, 2 strikes on Quintero, who is now 0 for his last 18.
Yikes.
And that's drilled to left center field. Ibanez is all the way back and gone. Quintero puts an end to that long hitless string with his first home run as a Royal. It is now a 4-run game.
Yeah, I think he might have heard you saying he's 0 for 18. I'm going to put it into that. Nice, easy swing. Didn't try to do too much on an elevated pitch. Phil Hughes, having given up 7 home runs so far this year, he kind of could tell that ball was going to leave. Ibanez thought he had room, and that ball took a drink in the fountain.
So Phil Hughes was 1 strike away from a 7-inning performance against a struggling hitter, but Quintero knocks him out, and it's Boone Logan into the game and a Chevy call to the bullpen. thanks to Humberto Quintero's first home run. It was on an 0-2 pitch, and it was Phil Hughes' last pitch. And as Rex pointed out, that ball ended up in the fountains. Boone Logan comes on with 2 outs in the inning. And then a fellow went into the fountains after the ball. And you can do many things at Kauffman Stadium, ladies and gentlemen, but you cannot go swimming. Not only will you be ejected from the game, as the sign says out in left field, but you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I'm not totally versed on the swimming laws in Missouri. I mean, what kind of a prison sentence can you get for swimming? Gerard Dyson is 1 for 4.
Oh, well, according to the sign, persons entering the fountain will be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
I mean, what is the fullest extent? Randy Miller, our audio guy, suggested waterboarding might be a. You want to get wet? Okay, we'll get you wet.
I don't think so. But you can't go in after a foul ball or a home run ball, for that matter.
I mean, I don't want to make too much of this, but the fullest extent of the law for going in the fountains. I mean, are there like 5 different options? And sorry, buddy, we're not gonna let you up easy here. We're gonna go with the 5th and most stiffest extent of the swimming violations in the state of Missouri. Anyway.
Big hit here, gets him back in it.
Dyson takes off, and no throw from Russell Martin. That's a 3rd stolen base for Dyson. So a base hit here could make it a 3-run game.
Yep, no chance with a jump like that for Martin.
One ball, 1 strike. Now, last night we told you that Alex Gordon was 0 for 15 in his career against Boone Logan. 2 nights ago, he made his 15th out, but it was a rocket and a line out to center field. And he got his first hit against Logan, a double to straightaway center. Now down 1 ball and 2 strikes. So even if a hitter doesn't have good numbers against a pitcher, doesn't necessarily mean he's getting the bat knocked out of his hands. But when Alex, before last night, had made good contact against Logan, it's been right at somebody. Two and two.
Logan's got that fastball there and a sweeping slider. That's what he'll try to get Gordon out on here. That was a setup pitch. High fastball, and I'll try to sweep him away.
Well, wasn't a pretty swing, but he's still alive. Lays off a close pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Quintero is homered in the inning, and then after that, with 2 outs and nobody on, Dyson singled and stole second. And Alex pulls it to Cano. Third time the Royals have scored 1 run in an inning, and we go to the 8th. It is now 7-3 New York.
Montgomery getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live. We will take a look back at Irving Fallou's major league debut, but really the big story so far from a Royals standpoint, the struggles of Luke Hochevar. Jeff Montgomery and I will break that down and look ahead to tomorrow's matchup, first of 3 between the Royals and Red Sox. Felix Doubront, Jonathan Sanchez on the hill for Kansas City. And who knows, maybe we'll have Ryan on to talk about the legalities of swimming in the fountain. Rex could come on to talk about Alex Gordon's thighs, and you never know what else.
Yeah.
Guys?
Would you like to see Alex swimming around in the fountains?
I wouldn't, but there would be a lot of ladies that would like to see him.
Yeah, but you know what? If he does that, they'll throw the book at him.
You know what I say to that? Cheese and crackers.
To say that with a little more life to it.
Cheese and crackers.
There you go.
There you go, Hud.
Thank you.
Well, Luis Mendoza, who was so good last year at AAA, 12-5, the Pacific Coast League's pitcher of the year, and then was impressive in 3 starts for the Royals last year, had a 0.47 ERA in the Cactus League, which you got to win some sort of an award for that. And now putting himself back on the radar again, picking up for Luke Hochevar, and has 4 2/3 scoreless innings today.
So Joel Goldberg will have to make that a topic of conversation as well on his post game, because that's a positive you run with. Like to dwell on the positives. And the other's Falou.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Dwayne Wise, with Derek Jeter coming up next. Derek Jeter, look at the people in the front row right there, just recording video of him as he just stands in the on deck area with his hand on his hip. And for Yankee fans, I guess any baseball fan, or maybe any female, it's a thrill just to be that close to number 2.
Well, you can't blame him. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, the shortstop. He's a world champion, and he's done just about everything you can. And you know, he looks around always, and he talks to people. He always has when he's been in the on-deck circle. But look what he's doing too. He's also timing Mendoza.
And Mendoza He has walked 4, and he hasn't had 4 in the third perfect innings. He did get outs to the only batters that he faced in the third, but gave up a single in the fourth, a couple of walks in the fifth, a walk and a single in the sixth, a double in the seventh. He's just been able to pitch well with men on base. Tommy Hotovy getting ready in the Royals bullpen with Curtis Granderson coming up after Jeter, and then 2 batters after that. Left-hand hitting Robinson Cano. Jeter on base 3 more times today, a double, a single, a walk, a run scored. He's hitting .397. Wise is running, and Quintero's throw is a little late, and Wise's helmet comes flying off as he goes into second base. And the Yankees trainer and manager Joe Girardi initially coming out of the third base dugout thinking that Wise was injured.
Well, that's dangerous. When you go in that hard and you go head first, your knee or your helmet hits the guy's knee. That's how we've seen guys getting concussions. That's what happened there. He got a knee sandwich from Chris Getz.
And Getz knows all about that. In his first year with the Royals, he was sliding in head first into second base and was hit by a throw and was out because of a concussion.
That's why you go feet first. Eliminate some of the possibilities of getting injured. Head first slides are pretty dangerous. You can hurt your fingers, you can break a knuckle, you can a lot of things, and taking the knee is the most severe. That's how Morneau got hurt.
Two and one to Jeter. A little bit inside, 3 balls and 1 strike. So the Royals have a 3-game series with the Boston Red Sox beginning tomorrow. And the Yankees will have an off day tomorrow, and they'll be home for a homestand against Tampa Bay and Seattle. Yankees trailing Tampa Bay by 4.5 games in the East going into today. Ball 4, Jeter's on for the 4th time. And for Mendoza, that is 5 walks. And Ned Yost hasn't motioned yet to the bullpen, but you have a left-hand hitter in Granderson coming up. Hotovy is warmed up and ready to go. And there's the call. He did leave behind a couple of runners, but giving the Royals a lot of length out of the bullpen after having to go to the pen in the 3rd inning. And now Tommy Hottovy, who made his Royals debut on Friday after leaving 15 tickets for family and friends. Kansas City boy, growing up a Royals fan, will make it his 2nd Kauffman Stadium appearance, and we'll get Curtis Granderson, a left-hand hitter, with 2 on and nobody out. Granderson, 2 hits, an RBI, and a run scored.
Hey, Tommy's going to sweep that slider on the lefty. Use a fastball to set it up. He's got a curveball too he'll throw, and once in a while he'll throw over the top, but he's comfortable throwing sidearm.
One ball, one strike, and the batter that he faced, and he only faced one batter when he appeared on Friday, was Granderson, and he got him on a fly ball to center field. Wise at second, Jeter at first. 1-2.
Nice spot, very effective against lefties because of the deception, but also the bite on that slider. Didn't always throw sidearm. Local fans here that watched him grow up knew he threw over the top.
Granderson strikes out, 1 away.
But after he had Tommy John surgery on his elbow, he started throwing sidearm, because if he threw on top, you can see what the sidearm does, and look at how he turns that ball over. A lot of torque on the elbow, but when they put him back together again, they usually use a tendon from your wrist to put it on the elbow. But he didn't have one of those flexor tendons in his wrist, and a small percentage of the population doesn't have that, so they went into his hamstring, and they found a tendon there.
Another thing I noticed on that Mazda replay there was that in slow motion you could see the scar on the left elbow for the Tommy John surgery. And pitchers nowadays can come back stronger after Tommy John surgery because that area is stronger. You get the way it's been described to me. You can see the bottom of the elbow there. You can see just a line. That's the scar from the Tommy John surgery. You got the ligament that keeps that elbow stable, the ulnar collateral ligament, but I think when they go in there with either the wrist or the hamstring, as you just described, they double it up. Well, we knew it was going to happen at some point. We hoped it wouldn't happen, but Alex Rodriguez picked perhaps his last at-bat of the series to have a meaningful hit, and it's a 3-run home run. And the Royals, who were down by 4, are now down by 7. So Cano and Rodriguez pretty quiet the first 3 games. The Royals won 2 of those, and now they both hit home runs today.
Pitch was inside. But to a right-handed batter, if you're a side-arming lefty, he's able to see the ball a lot clearer, and coming into you, it's a little bit easier to hit that ball coming in. That ball took a drink.
So he has a 3-run home run, and that is 634 career home runs for Alex Rodriguez. He is already 5th all-time, and next on the all-time list is Willie Mays, and Rodriguez needs 26 to catch him. So Rodriguez has a 3-run home run. Cano at the plate now hit a grand slam in the Yankees' 6-run 3rd inning. now Cano has a 2-hit game.
How did he started that breaking ball at at Cano, and then Cano waited for it to break over the plate. Joe Girardi's happy to see his offense break out for some runs. They have been a little bit shy so far early this year. But I'll tell you, one of the positives he's going to really like is the fact that Phil Hughes went 6 2/3, only gave up 6 hits, only 3 runs. Had 7 strikeouts. That is a positive he'll gain from as well.
Yeah, just to add some numbers to your comment there, Rex, the Yankees came into today. They had lost 4 of their last 6 games and only 13 runs total over that stretch. 4 times in those 6 games, they scored 2 runs or less. So even though they've got a lot of firepower in their lineup, kind of the same feeling that the Royals have had lately, where you just want to have that one game where you really break out. And now they have a 7-run lead in the 8th inning. Mark Teixeira has walked twice and scored once. He has a couple of tough luck outs to right field. Mitch Meyer made a great play on him up against the chain link in right in the 3rd inning, and then Teixeira lined out to Meyer in the 7th. Three and 1.
Pretty good spot that last pitch. Didn't get called.
Full count. Moustakas plays a tough hop out at second. Royals turn a double play after the Yankees score 3, and they have a 7-run lead. His last 3 hits have been RBI doubles, and in the first he drove in Alex Gordon. Billy with 9 doubles and 20 RBIs.
He's a machine, a hitting machine. Goes gap to gap, and he's going to get another chance here. Facing Rafael Soriano, just making his appearance today.
Royals saw him on Thursday He pitched a scoreless 8th inning.
And he, too, along with David Robertson, will be considered to fill Mariano Rivera's spot the rest of this year because he's got closing experience. Straight fastball, 90 to 95, slider change, and a split finger.
Just a couple of years ago for the Tampa Bay Rays, Soriano led the American League with 45 saves. 0-2 on Billy. And the Yankees, 2 off seasons ago, they gave Soriano a lot of money, considering that they already had Mariano Rivera as a closer. So he was going to be a high-paid setup man. And then David Robertson blossomed into one of the best setup men in the American League. So now you got Robertson and Soriano trying to take over that closer's role, with many people feeling like the Yankees are going to go with Robertson. Cano goes to the left side of second base to throw out Billy Butler. 1 down in the 8th.
Well, you know, the thing that you hope doesn't happen is the egos get involved. But Soriano, if he does not get named, that's why Girardi really hasn't officially named a guy yet, because, you know, if they do name Robertson, they're hoping that Soriano won't be offended by that. You would hope.
Well, Soriano's good, but Robertson, man, he has struck out the last 8 hitters he has faced. And he was throwing lightning when he came into the game on Friday. One and one to Hosmer, who is grounded out twice and flied out to left field. Soriano started in the Mariners organization, and he was an outfielder, so similar to Felipe Paulino, starting as an outfielder and then moved to pitcher. Granderson is back in center field. 2 outs in the 8th inning. The most recent run scored by the Royals was in the 7th inning. It's our AT&T Uverse reverse replay.
Quintero gets his first home run as a Royal on a nice easy swing. Left center field.
And that was on an 0-2 pitch and put an end to a personal 0-for-18. Ball 1 to Mike Moustakas, who has a double today and a fly out to deep center field. A couple of good swings. And he's 1 for 3. Two and 0. Three balls, no strikes to Moustakas. Mitch Meyer is on deck. Three and one.
Soriano's got a very fluid, easy delivery. Scouts will say the ball comes out of his hand freely. Got some life.
A 2-out walk to Moustakas.
You won't see any big league hitters giving at bats away. This doesn't happen. They're too competitive at this level to go up there and just say, oh, well, they got a huge lead. Doesn't happen. These guys are the world's greatest for a reason. They compete.
Mitch Meyer starting in right field today, allowing Jeff Francoeur to get an afternoon off. First start for Meyer in right.
Even though the Royals have had a few rainouts early this year, this is a good time to rest a couple of guys, especially Escobar short. Frenchie, they've been grinding pretty hard.
We mentioned earlier that the Yankees have a day off tomorrow. The Royals don't have a day off till Thursday, and when that comes, they will have played, or at least with the rainouts, prepared to play. They haven't had a true off day in 20 straight days. Meyer hits it to left center field, and Ibanez runs it down in the gap with a nice play. Ninth inning at Kauffman Stadium, and the Yankees still in front, 10-3. Win at home in back-to-back games for the first time this year. They'll have to have a huge bottom of the ninth inning to do that. But as the Royals prepare for the Boston Red Sox, if Tommy Hotovy can get through this inning without another pitching change, thanks to the work of Luis Mendoza, the Royals will only need 3 pitchers today, even though they had to go to that bullpen in the third. Luis Mendoza with 4 2/3 innings. Gave up a couple of runs, or at least runs that were charged to him. Hotovy will get Nick Swisher, Raul Ibanez, and Russell Martin.
Well, that's one of the reasons that Ned Yost sent Lewis Coleman out. It wasn't Lewis's performance. It's the fact that he wanted to have 2 long men in his bullpen. Nate Adcock and Mendoza for situations like this. So, manager's going to make personnel moves based on the team's needs, not on the individual players.
Grounded to Moustakas, who handled a hot shot last inning and started a 5-4-3 double play. He gets Swisher here in the 9th, and there is 1 out.
That fundamentally sound position right there. Catch it, watch him as he finds the grip, 4 seams with his fingers. He's going to roll it, go across the seams so the ball stays straight. Gathers some momentum. He touched his glove to get his feet right. That's called rhythm, and throws right over the top. Young players out there, that's how you make a routine fundamental play, especially when you play on the left side of the diamond. It's a glove tap to get your feet lined up. But what was interesting in that super slow motion, we could see him after he caught the ball in his glove. He rolled the ball in his fingers to get the 4 seams to throw it straight.
Shallow center field. Falou goes out to get it. And knowing that fielders do that, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen it with the super slow-mo like that. And it looks a little bit easier in slow motion, but in reality, the infielder doesn't have much time to find that right grip. It's all part of the rhythm.
Right. You know how you do that is by when you first start playing catch. Okay, watch him. He's going to transfer it. Now he's on top of the seams. He moves it to the 4 seams, taps his glove to get his feet going that way, having some momentum coming so he can help some on his throw, help get something on the throw. And you do that by just playing catch when you first start your practice that day. When you're warming up, when you throw it to your buddy, when you get it back, you catch it and you try to find the seams. And then it becomes a habit. And then once you do that automatically.
Now we hear about 4 seams, but we're normally talking about a fastball from a pitcher. But here we go. We're on camera here. Why don't you show what it?
Moustakas, when he pulled the ball out of his glove, he was on top of the seams like this. Okay, when you throw a ball like that all the way across the diamond, the ball will tail. It'll sail up the line because of the way you let go of the ball. So Moustakas rolled it to the 4 seams. See the 4 seams? That's across the seams, and that ball stays straight. It's like a 4-seam fastball a pitcher will throw. And he'll throw the 2-seam fastball because it sinks and dives.
Now, if a 4-seam, if that sounds a little strange, it's actually a 3-seam fastball because this is the 4th seam, but you're touching 1, 2, 3. But as you said, you're going over the long part of the seams, right?
Right, and the ball will, when it leaves your hand, it'll stay straighter, and that's what you want. You want to try to get a good straight throw. So thanks, Mike Moustakas.
Brought to you by Miller Lite, and what a great day for Irving Falou.
Without a doubt, not just for Falou, but his family who joined him and his teammates who understand the work, the perseverance, the hanging in there, the will to not quit, not give up. And your dream can come true if you do that, like Irving Falou. He's a big leaguer, and he deserves the accolades for as much time as he's put in to professional baseball.
Almost 950 minor league games before today, and boy, he didn't waste any time when he came up in the 2nd inning for his first big league at bat. Second pitch that he saw from Phil Hughes, he hammered that triple into the corner, and then in the 5th inning he singled to right and came around to score. He'll bat second this inning. Corey Wade will be the 4th Yankees pitcher today, making his 11th appearance. He has struck out 15 in 12 1/3 innings. Chris Getz goes after the first pitch, and Dwayne Wise, fighting the glare, is able to bring it down. Getz is 0 for 4. Jason Nix is in left field, replacing Raul Ibanez. Nix started in left in the first 2 games of the series. So Irving Falou, who was the Royals' 21st pick in 2003, out of Indian River Community College in Iowa. So he is from Puerto Rico, but went to community college here in the United States.
Long time waiting. Now you see those guys are professional scouts and the best. They're the best in the business. And their job is to look for talent. Now they got the radar gun there. They're checking out Corey Wade. But when you see a guy like Falou, you look at him and you go, huh, let me see where this kid came from. Okay, looks pretty good. He's got a couple hits today. We could use him on our team. Now the Royals don't want to give him away.
Hit hard to right field. Back goes Wise, and he makes the catch. So 3 good swings today. And somebody in the stands is jotting that down.
Right. And they're looking at him, and he showed all of his skills. He ran a triple. He made some nice plays at shortstop. He looks fundamentally sound, and he is. And when you hear scouts talk about him, he has passion, energy, instincts, and the fact he has the will to persevere and work hard, and he knows the game. Someone will get him if the Royals don't keep him, and he'll get some Major League time. Hopefully he gets 10 years in after this. He's still got time, and the way he works, it's going to happen. Now, here's Brian Pena.
Humberto Quintero started behind the plate and homered in his last at-bat. And for Quintero, he put an end to a long hitless string. It was 18 at-bats without a hit, and now Brian trying to do the same thing in this pinch hit appearance. He is 0 for his last 13. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. And Brian hits a shot into center field, so he can put that in the rearview mirror. Be 0 for 13 and come to the ballpark like Quintero with a good feeling about his swing tomorrow.
No question. And when you square a ball up right back up the middle like that, that makes a hitter feel good. That means you're right on the ball.
Gerard Dyson is 1 for 4 today with a single and a stolen base, his 3rd. And remember, the Royals were a little slow with their base running early in the season. That's a wild pitch that'll allow Pena to go up to second base. Royals now starting to pile up the stolen bases and are second in the league with 20 on the year. They finished last year second in the league to Tampa Bay.
Well, if Dyson stays healthy and he gets a chance to play a lot this year, he'll add to that total.
2 balls and no strikes. Now they've changed the ruling on the pitch that allowed Pena to go to second base. If you'd like to score along with us, not a wild pitch. It is now ruled a pass ball.
Anytime a catcher can get a glove on it before he hits the ground, that's how they rule that.
And Dyson whacks a 2-1 pitch into center field and will drive in a run.
Okay, nice short compact swing there. Ball right down the middle. Hit it right back where it came from. See that big hole there? Looks easy. It's not, though. That's why you say good hit.
And the Yankees will allow Dyson to go to second base. That will not be a stolen base. defensive indifference, which is another way of saying the Yankees don't care. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Is that like a fan telling me to please use less words? That's a nice way of saying you talk too much.
Mm-hmm. Remember Frank Layden, the NBA basketball coach with, I think, Utah. He had a great personality.
Mm-hmm.
A quote I've used before, it's so funny. He went up to a player who just wasn't into it and said, "Son, what is it? Is it indifference or ignorance?" And the player said, "Coach, I don't know and I don't care." I love that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Took some courage to say that. I'd never say that to my boss.
Apparently the player didn't know what ignorance and indifference meant. I hit a wire on the way down. 2-2 on Alex. 4 hits last night, an RBI single today. That lady came up with the foul ball after it hit the wire on the way down and gave it away to a younger fan at the ballpark today on a family fun day Sunday, and everybody will be running the bases after the game. There's another souvenir into the seats off to the right field side. There the sun is burned through the overcast. You hear meteorologists every now and then talk about a pop-up thunderstorm. Not one that you can see coming, but it just pops up out of nowhere, and that's what happened today at about 10:15 at the ballpark. The radar just lit up like a Christmas tree out of nowhere, and it just poured for about an hour. Grounds crew is able to get the tarp on the field, and after steady rain for about 2.5 hours, they're able to peel it back, prepare the field, and we started right on time. So kudos again to Trevor Vance and his crew.
Way to go, Trevor.
Alex working hard with the Royals down by 6 in the 9th inning.
Trevor Vance's grounds crew guys, I see them every day, and they are like loving what they do. They come out here, they're ready, they're focused. These guys, they love what they do. They work hard, and they're always ready.
Launch to right field. Alex was just a little bit out in front, so the long at bat continues. Trevor, I have learned in 14 years, when he says it's going to stop raining at 12:17, it's going to stop raining at 12:17.
Those guys are better than any meteorologist there is.
I can't recall a time when grounds crew was caught without the tarp on the field and the field was soaked. That puts an end to the series. Alex strikes out. So Corey Wade gets the final 3 outs of the game. It was a 6-run 3rd inning for the New York Yankees that turned this game around. The Royals got single runs in the 5th, 7th, and 9th innings, and then after Robinson Cano hit the grand slam in the 6th, Alex Rodriguez hit the 3-run home run in the 8th. Yankees win it. We'll be right back.